All right. Well, I said I wasn't going to do any Patriot players, but I lied.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, I did. I wasn't. I
would
was
love
going to
to see you pick a Jet, a Dolphin, or a Bill. Just
that's
once.
not-
Just pick one of
it's
them.
not
Nick, she picked two
happening.
Patriots players.
Definitely.
No, I only
Yeah.
picked one. I only picked one.
And one
and
that
it's-
used to be on the Patriots.
No. Josh
Don't believe
Uche is
All
somebody that I'm very excited to watch his second year just because of the way he ended last year. He spent the majority of the first half of the season dealing with injury. It was like a foot thing that hampered him for probably like 6 to 8 weeks. And it was one of those things where it's like, oh, Belichick did it again, drafted a guy who's not even going to play, blah, 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 whatever. Belichick can't draft. Now, the way he ended last season was super promising. And with, I think, having Van Noy and Hightower both back, it's not to say that I'm not excited for what they're going to do, because I think this Patriots defense is going to be really good this year. It's going to make up for the lack of offense, I think. But I also think it's really good for him to be playing with them. He's not going to be an every down back, obviously, but I was very impressed with what I saw, and I think going forward he's going to be a really good kind of core player for this team if Hightower decides to hang him up in the next couple of years. It was supposed to be this year, according to Twitter sources who never can get anything right, but what are you going to do? So yeah, Josh Uche, he's my number one. Number two, I was torn between an offensive player and a defensive player, but I think I'm just going to stick with the theme of the last couple of weeks and go
Gunner.
Montez Sweat.
I like that one.
You know what?
No,
Yeah,
no,
it's
no.
really
Good
that
ones
one.
right now.
Gunner.
Yeah, Montez is legit.
Montez Sweat. I think the tandem of him and Chase Young, as they mature and kind of get a little bit more of the game under their belt professionally, is going to be terrifying. And I only hope that the Washington football team do right by them and build a team for them, because they have, it seems, on both sides of the ball, they have some pieces that can make this team really good. It's just getting the rest of that together to form just some sort of competent football team. And I think that they can make strides towards that this year. Like you said, with Fitz, I'm not 100% confident in him, but I like him better than Kyle Allen or whoever else it could possibly be under center. So, but I'm excited for Montez Sweat. And I think last year, the only reason why he didn't really get his due is because everybody was excited for Chase Young.
Yeah.
Not to say that they shouldn't. Not to say that they shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
But I think those two together are going to be scary, and maybe even this year. So he's my number two. I really like him. I really like him. So
kind of stays with what we spoke about on last week's show, is when we said, like, what you're only as good as the opposite player, your second player, right? We were talking about cornerbacks, and like you're only as good as Revis's cornerback too, and you're only as good as your left tackle's right tackle, right? So like having someone like Sweat is so important, because that D line is awesome in Washington. Having Young and Sweat, somebody is going to see that single protection. Like they're going to roll a lot of their protections at extra tight end, that running back to chip to Chase Young, and Sweat, even though he's going to always be overshadowed by Chase Young because of the name and where he was drafted, Sweat's going to be a guy who can easily live out and be like double-digit sack guy every year. So that's a really, really good one, because like you really just have to, like, as long as you have a little bit of a motor, like he's got the skill set. Like if you have a little bit of motor on that other side of Chase Young, like you're just going to eat, and like all the time. So I think Sweat's a guy who can have 10, 11, 12 sacks, no problem.
Yeah, same body structure as Julius Peppers too. Helps him a lot. He's got that length. He could get some more muscle on his body. You could really see him turn into a disruptive force there. So he's going to be really good. And Brady, what you were saying, I agreed with everything you said. You don't even need to dial up much on defensively with those two guys there. Just put them on the outside and let them go. Honestly.
Yeah, just let them go.
Yeah.
They have Allen and Payne inside too, man. That's scary. That's a scary front.